Whoever it is they set out to catch these kinds of criminals. It could be the CIA, the FBI, or even just your local police force. From both known and unknown killers, serial killers, and plain old-fashioned plain killers. Here is the list of the top people whom the CIA fears the most. Starting off with Sean Great. From 2006 until his capture in 2016, Sean, a serial killer, committed a string of murders. It is estimated that he murdered at least 5 victims over the course of his 10-year criminal career. Sean was detained in September 2016 and later charged with 2 murders, kidnapping, and assaulting a woman whose 911 call resulted in his arrest. He was also being accused of 2 additional deaths at the same time, in addition to one from way back in 2006, in a different county nearby. On May 7, 2018, Sean was found guilty on 2 of the counts. On March 1, 2019, he entered a guilty plea to 2 additional counts. And on September 11, 2019, he entered a guilty plea to the remaining count. He ultimately received a death sentence and has remained on death row since his last plea and sentencing, and is currently set to be executed in 2025. Dale Hausner and Samuel Dietman. These 2 were the serial shooters, and they were actively committing crimes between May 2005 and August 2006. In essence, they were drive-by shooters who also randomly set fire to things. Investigators were ultimately able to identify the perpetrators of these terrible crimes thanks to a series of tips, including one from a friend of Samuel who claimed that Sam had admitted to some of the murders while under the influence of alcohol. In Dale's trial, which took place over the course of 1 trial, he was found responsible for 80 of the 87 felonies that were alleged. Charges against him included drive-by shootings, arson, animal cruelty, and the murders and attempted murders he had committed. In the end, he received 6 death sentences, and his brother, who helped commit some of the crimes, received a 25-year sentence. Dale was on death row and reportedly asked to be executed as soon as possible. Finally, in 2013, Dale made the decision to commit suicide while incarcerated. Samuel, however, is still incarcerated today. David Berkowitz. From July 1976 to July 1977, David Berkowitz, also known as the son of Sam, terrorized New York City. While eluding the largest manhunt in the history of New York City, he murdered 6 people and injured 7 others. He was one of those conceited individuals who leaves police officers tiny notes pledging to repeat the offense. He was arrested on August 10, 1977, and he was charged with crimes because of his conceited self. He admitted it to everyone present and explained that he was simply carrying out the instructions of a demon that had taken the form of a dog belonging to his neighbors. After being determined to be mentally fit to stand trial, he admitted his guilt and was given 6 consecutive life sentences after entering a guilty plea. He later admitted to fabricating the tale of the dog, but he did claim that he belonged to a violent satanic cult, and that this was the reason for his crimes. Tex Watson. Tex Watson was a key member of the Charles Manson-led Manson family and a willing participant in the horrifying State and La Biaga crimes that occurred on August 9th and 10th, 1969. Tex fled to his home state of Texas in October 1969 when he realized his arrest was imminent, but was later apprehended and returned to California via extradition. He lost 55 pounds after refusing to eat or speak once he arrived in California, which led to his being sent for a fitness for trial test. On 7 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of conspiracy to commit murder, he was found guilty in 1971. His death sentence was eventually commuted to life in prison for this individual. However, it appears that while incarcerated, this man has been living the high life because in addition to publishing a book, he also got married and had 4 children through conjugal visits with his former wife. The Doodler. This unidentified murderer's moniker comes from his habit of sketching his victims before he killed them. From January 1974 to September 1975, a serial killer who targeted the gay community committed crimes in the San Francisco area. This murderer is thought to be responsible for 14 fatalities and 3 other injuries. The 3 survivors were very hesitant to speak with authorities for fear of being outed at the time, due to the stigma and sensitivity surrounding gay men. Due to this, they have very little information to work with in identifying the guilty party. Sadly, none of the survivors felt confident enough to testify in court, so the primary suspect in the case was never formally charged. The Long Island Killer. It is believed that the Long Island Killer first started operating in the area in 1996, and it is entirely possible that they are still operating today. Currently, authorities think that this unidentified person may be responsible for anywhere between 10 and 17 crimes. Unfortunately, not much is known about who this person might be, but it is currently believed that they are most likely a white male in his mid to late 20s who is well versed in law enforcement operations and procedures. They thought this because it would explain why he has been so successful at evading capture thus far. And finally, Edmund Kemper. The murderer, Edmund Kemper, an American, was found guilty of killing 10 people, including his mother and paternal grandparents. He is reportedly most well known for his 6'9" height and 145 IQ score. He is also reportedly quite intelligent. When he killed his grandparents, it was his first crime. After committing this crime, he was found to have paranoid schizophrenia and spent time in a hospital before it was determined that he was rehabilitated. At the age of 21, he was then released. Sadly, he went on a rampage after being released, picking on young women hitchhiking. He ultimately confessed and turned himself in after committing his last crimes. So that's the end of the video. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and press the notification bell so you never miss out on our next videos. Until the next video, take care.